Hello, Knockouts. Tanya TKO here, and I am a self love specialist from TanyaTKO.com. I help you learn how to love yourselves and one another. On this channel, we use viral video topics as teachable moments for what self love or self abuse looks like in your life. And today we have a really special treat. We have a live virtual studio audience that I'm going to bring forward for you all. So today we're just doing a simple test, right? So I'm going to show the studio audience right here. So these are the people on the live studio audience. So everybody wave, wave. So we are live right now. And today we're going to be talking about Ma'Khia Bryant. And we're going to read a new article on the New York Times that shows more of the journey that she went through, which ended up with her being shot several times by a police officer as she attempted to stab another person in front of them. This is just for context because there are a lot of people who are adding other information to the story that is not verified. And even in the New York Times article, some of the information that they added is not verified either, is hearsay. So we're going to read the article and you're going to see that they say that some of the information that they have comes from documents, from hearsay, from personal account, but they do not differentiate what it is that they're putting in the article that comes from which place. But one of the things that you're going to see is that it is being shown that she was failed on many fronts, that there are many different ways that Ma'Khia Bryant was failed. And so let me give a shout out to the text notification squad, right? The first person who came onto the scene was Chandra, and then we have Onja Leke, Onja Leke. We have Onja Leke and Lumiere, Christina, Anitra, Alicia, Iffy, Lady K, Miss Sassy, Altagracia, Tanya Wright, Brandy, Allison. So I see the people who came into the text early from the text notification squad. And the studio audience today is compiled of people who are from the text notification squad. And we're testing this out to see if this is a feature that we are going to go forward with, if we're going to continue it, if we're just going to do it for today. But the ultimate goal is to be able to create live interactive broadcasts where you all are able to give your feedback during the broadcast. So if this is something that you like, make sure that you give your comments about that. I am your host, Tanya TKO. I'm a self-love specialist. I'm a certified clinical hypnotherapist and a certified life coach with a specialty in relationship coaching. We've done a lot of talking about Ma'Khia Bryant, and we've done several stories about her, so I thought it only fair to give the update. And for those of you on the side, if you are part of the text notification squad, throw up your number 10. And if you'd like to become a part of the text notification squad, you just go to TanyaTKO.com, click on text, and then you join right there. It's $1.99 if you're in the United States, and it's $4.99 if you are anywhere outside of the US and Canada. And so that is available for you. And let's get this up on the screen. Give me one moment, please. Give me one moment. I'm bringing up the article right now. All right. And when you join the text notification squad, you get a notification to come in early so that you're here 15 minutes before the broadcast starts. You never miss another live video because right now we're broadcasting live on YouTube and Twitter Periscope. We are not live on Facebook. So if you see this after the fact on Facebook, make sure that you join the text notification squad so that you can get the link of where it is that we're going to be live, even if that live is on Zoom. All right, so listen, the article is up. So let's jump and read this now. All right. So the article talks about Ma'Khia Bryant's journey through the foster care ended with an officer's bullet. That's the title of the article. The 16-year-old girl was fatally shot while threatening a young woman with a knife. She had spent 2 years shuttling among Ohio foster homes, hoping to return to her mother. And so I believe this must be the area where they were in that driveway right there. And they have, balloons and teddy bears and stuff out there. It's unfortunate that It's unfortunate that the balloons and teddy bears only come out when an officer takes a life. I want us in the Black community to value all of the lives that are living and lost, unfortunately, even at the hands of other Black people. I want us to start holding ourselves accountable. But let's continue to go forward. Let's continue to go forward. All right. Columbus, Ohio. All right. Columbus, Ohio. The voice on the 911 call is a teenage girl's and it's quavering as if she's been crying. I want to leave this foster home, she tells the dispatcher. I want to leave this foster home. When two police officers arrived at the home in Columbus, Ohio, they reported later they met an agitated ninth grader, Janiyah Bryant, who told them that the fighting at 3171 Legion Lane was getting worse and worse. They said there was nothing they could do and that this seemed to push her over the edge. She became irate, the officers wrote in their report, and told them that if she was not allowed to leave, she was going to quote unquote kill someone. So now Janiyah is the 13-year-old younger sister of Micaiah. She's the 13-year-old younger sister of Micaiah. And she stated to the officers that she was going to kill someone, the 13-year-old, right? And this was before the incident that day, right? Let's continue to move forward. 23 days later, Janiyah called 911 again, telling the police that she and her older sister were being threatened by two young women who used to live at the house. Officers arrived in the middle of a melee outside the house, and one of them fatally shot Janiyah's 16-year-old sister, Micaiah Bryant, who was lunging at one of the women brandishing a steak knife. They say it was a steak knife, right? And then there's the picture of Micaiah, right? The shooting, which occurred moments before, give me one moment. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My books are sold out on Amazon, and I'm trying to coordinate a replenishing right now. If you did order my books from me on my website, all orders should be shipped within the next 2 weeks. So give me some time on that. If you are looking to order on Amazon, they are currently sold out, and I'm looking to replenish that right now. And that's what I'm working on right now. So give me just one moment, please. It says the shooting, which occurred moments before a jury in Minneapolis wait, what? The shooting, which occurred moments before a jury in Minneapolis convicted Derek Chauvin of murdering George Floyd, released a new wave of anger over shootings by the police. To calm the furor, the way these people wrote this, like, I personally, gone are the days of unbiased journalism. This article is, to me, in my opinion, skewed. It's like it's written from a liberal standpoint. And I wish that we could be, I don't know, there's like all of this flowery language and all of this other stuff and furor now. And I'm like, let's continue to go forward. You know what? As a matter of fact, I want to hear from the people in the studio audience about what they think about this article so far. I'm gonna bring them forward, and I want you all to let me know if you could hear the people in the studio audience. I just give me 1 second. Let me hear. So I'm gonna bring them forward, and let's see. I need to figure out how to allow people to unmute themselves. Give me 1 second. Okay, perfect. So I was able to do that. All right. Hold on. Hold on. I need you to bear with me. Hold on for just one moment. I need to bring you to the screen. Give me one moment. Okay. All right. We're going to jump back into the article, but I want to hear and see how you all feel about this so far. All right. So if you all can hear, so go ahead and say what you were going to say. And if you all can hear the audio, I need you all to just put up the number 1 if you can hear the audio. Go ahead, unmute yourself. Pause. Pause for just one moment. I just want to see if they can hear you. Okay, so they can hear you, so keep going forward. Hold on. Some people are saying they cannot hear you. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second. Let me see. So you cannot hear her audio is what you're saying. All right. Give me 1 second. I just need to switch the sound then. Let me just switch the audio output. Give me 1 second. Like I said, this is the first time testing this, so I want to these things happen. Give me 1 second. Okay. I need to I'm sorry, give me 1 second. I need to now switch my headphones to a different jack. All right, testing, testing, testing. There's no sound. Okay, let's see. All right, can you all hear me on the Zoom? let me hold on. Okay, can you all hear me? Nobody can hear. All right, no sound at all. Okay, let me. Okay, so someone says, I can hear you, but it's low. Now you hear me. Okay, 1 second. All right, so now I'm able to be heard on YouTube. Okay, perfect. Perfect. So listen, what I want you all to do is if you want to say something during the live show, please put it in the chat area, because if we if we have everybody coming off of the mic, it then, oh, someone's sending an apple. Let me see what the apple says. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. All right. Yutunde says silence on on YouTube. All right. Okay, it says, and the audio jack you took off, we can't hear you. All of us in Zoom lost both your YT and Zoom. Okay. All right, let me move this back over here. This is weird. I can't understand why we would lose the audio because of that. All right, so listen, I need you all. So listen, now you should be able to hear me. Let me see whether or not, let me check the audio settings. Oh, my Lordy, have mercy. This is, okay, so now the audio is back on YouTube. All right, so I see the audio is now back on YouTube. And the sound is now able to come through the speakers. That's perfect. And then, so now, what about you all over here on the Zoom? Can you all hear me?
I don't hear on YouTube or Zoom.
But I hear you. How you all over here on the Zoom?
I was just able to start hearing somebody. Something happened. She fixed us. Okay. We can hear now.
Can you hear it now?
Can you all hear me?
I can hear it on Zoom, but I can't.
Yes,
we're good now.
I don't hear you on Zoom, but I guess
we can hear you, Tanya.
So you can hear me on both Zoom and on YouTube.
Something happened. She fixed us. We can hear now.
All right. Okay, so I'm gonna put everybody back on mute. All right, everybody is back on mute. All right. So, and then see, this is part of the reason that I needed to come through the headphone is because there's an echo. So I'm going to need to get something to route the sound. So please forgive me, everybody. This is a test, but we see. So now let me, so there was one person who was speaking, and that was Theoro. Okay. Okay, so, all right. I'm sorry, you all. This is the way it is sometimes when you test out new things. You know, so Theoro, I need you to unmute yourself. All right. All right, perfect. Perfect. So now.
I hear nothing.
You hear nothing? Wow. Hold on. Let me try to fix that. Let me see if I can fix the sound again. Okay, what about now? Can you hear me? Huh? You have to unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself, Theoro. It's not letting you unmute? Oh my gosh. Listen. All right. I just sent you a notification to unmute yourself.
I'm unmuted.
Okay, wonderful. So now you've been unmuted. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Okay, so now you can hear me. All right, YouTube, you can hear me. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. All right, wonderful. Okay, so we're going to bring our guest back, but we need. I see. The thing is, I don't want you to come through the speakers because it's going to cause an echo because you're going to be coming in through the microphone. I don't know how to stop that though. unless I put the headphones in over here. Okay.
Or I turn off YouTube because that means you're hearing me on two speakers.
No. Don't worry about what you have on. I need to control what I have on over here. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, what I need to do is I need to get your sound to come through my headphones over here. Let's see. Okay, can you hear me? Okay, I need you all to put up a number 3 if you can. Hold on, I need to add you back to the screen. Give me 1 second. Okay, I need you to just say something.
I would like to say this is what testing is for. You're doing the hard work. It takes sometimes days to get the bugs out and figure out how to make video and audio work properly. So bravo to you, Tanya, for including us in your testing phase.
All right, well, thank you. I need you all to put up a number 3 if you just heard what she said. Okay, so the people on Zoom heard her, and the people on YouTube heard you. Yes. All right. So let's cut back to what it is that we were saying before. So I was saying that the article just didn't seem neutral, and that there just doesn't seem to be much neutrality in journalism anymore. And then you came forward and said, I have a background in journalism. Go forward.
Yeah, I was with CNN and KNBC, and I watched when news changed from ears to the pavement and reporters going out and getting stories and telling them authentically to big businesses buying up news entities. And news was reported from the top down. We come in morning meetings, and it wasn't what the reporters found, it's what the executives told us we would report on. So when you were reading that article saying it just didn't have the right feel, I felt the same way. It wasn't facts only. They were trying to color it to show that the George Floyd incident made a difference in how people reacted to what was happening in that case. And that's never the case. You have to look at each individual case for itself and just report facts. And that article was not doing that. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay, cool. Thank you. You can go ahead and put yourself back on mute. All right. Well, you know what? I appreciate that. I'm going to read some more of the article. I read about half of it earlier, and I decided that when we came forward that I was going to finish reading the article with you all. And so we're going to jump back into it, and then we're going to go and get response from the studio audience again, because you know what? And there were some parts of the article that really had me kind of looking sideways. And I was like, you know, but they did add a lot of information in there. So we're going to jump back and see what else we can find out from the article. All right. So where we left off was where they were talking about, okay, the shooting which occurred moments before a jury in Minneapolis convicted Derek Chauvin of murdering George Floyd released a new wave of anger over shootings by the police. To calm the furor, the Columbus police quickly released body camera footage which showed some of the fight outside the house. They said demonstrated that the officer had acted to protect the other woman. But Ms. Bryant's tragic death was also preceded by a turbulent journey through the foster care system, which had cycled Micaiah through at least 5 placements in 2 years. After her mother was found to be negligent, despite efforts by their grandmother to reunite the family. Ohio places children in foster care at a rate 10% higher than the national average, and child welfare officials here are considerably less likely than in the country as a whole to place children with their relatives. So we understand what they're saying right there. They're saying that that Ohio has so basically one of my concerns is that this article was written with the help of Ma'Khia Bryant's lawyer. And you know that they are working to present the case that the foster care system is at fault for Ma'Khia's death, etc., because they know that they can't go after the police because of the laws in Ohio which state when deadly force is able to be used. But let's continue going forward. Right? It says, Ohio places children in foster care at a rate 10% higher than the national average, and child welfare officials here are considerably less likely than in the country as a whole to place children with their relatives. Black children like Ma'Khia and her sister account for nearly a third of children removed from homes, nearly twice their proportion in the population. So we see that the case is being made through the New York Times. A review of Ma'Khia's pathway through foster care shows that it failed her in critical ways. Research has demonstrated that children fare far better when they remain with family members, a practice known as kinship care. It also shows that each successive placement causes additional trauma, further setting back a child in crisis. And then they have a picture here of Janiyah, who is Ma'Khia's 13-year-old little sister. So this is Janiyah. They're showing an image of her. And then they have the caption underneath. Janiyah Bryant, Ma'Khia's younger sister, moved through half a dozen living situations. All right. Everybody knows, and the research has proven over and over again that the best placement for children is with their kin, says Ronald R. Browder, the president and chief executive of the Ohio Federation for Health Equity and Social Justice. But the focus has always been on foster care. What the Bryant sisters wanted, Janiyah said, was to return to their family. So listen to this part right here. We can go to mommy or grandma. It doesn't matter as long as we can get off the system. Janiyah recalled Ma'Khia telling her younger siblings who were also in foster care. That was her biggest thing. She didn't want to be in the foster care system until she was 18. A spokeswoman, so all of you are following this story, right? You're following what's going along. And how many of you out here feel that the article is stated in such a way as to be a, how do I put this? A part of testimony for the lawyer's case. If you feel that this is a part of testimony, put up the number 4. If you think that it's not, put up the number 5. If you think that this is completely neutral or coincidental journalism, put up the number 5. Put up the number 4 if you think that this is a preparation for counsel's case. Okay. So we have some numbers coming up on the screen. So there's a lot of you that feel that this article is preparation for counsel's case. Okay, I mean, this is interesting. So I'm not the only person who is seeing how this article is written in such a skewed way that, okay, all right, I see. Okay, all right. And so Rakaya says 4, but so, well, part of the issue is that when it comes to journalism, be neutral in your journalism. They're not vloggers. This is not a vlogger. A vlogger can have their opinion. If it's in like the magazine part of the newspaper, and then you have your opinion. But come on, we'll continue going forward. We'll continue. Okay. And Mara Sharice is saying no journalism is neutral. The public no longer wants neutral journalism. Do they not? All right, let's continue. A spokeswoman for Franklin County Children's Services, which had custody of the siblings, declined to comment on Ma'Khia's case, citing confidentiality laws. Angela Moore, their foster mother at the time of Ma'Khia's death, talked about the teenager and the events leading up to her death, but did not respond later to detailed questions about the Bryant's girl and their care. This account is based on interviews. Listen. What they're talking about is based on interviews with Ma'Khia's family members and acquaintances, as well as court documents and other case records that were provided by the mother's lawyer. So we already see that this information was provided to the New York Times by the mother's lawyer. So let's continue. I mean, we already see where it's slanting, but that's fine because they're also going to give some hard truths in here, because you all remember I did that video. Why was Ma'Khia and her 3 younger siblings placed into foster care in the first place? We're going to get into that part of the article because this is the fact of the matter. She shouldn't have been in there in the first place, but why was she in there? Well, I don't want to say she shouldn't have been in there because she was saved by being in there. But what does she need saving from? All right. The oldest of 4 children born to Paula Bryant, a nursing assistant, and Myron Hammonds, Ma'Khia was removed from her mother's home in 2018 and spent 16 months living with her grandmother, Jeannie Hammonds. So one of the things that I just want to point out, and we talked about this when we looked at the press conference, right? I'm going to make this larger for you all. Ma'Khia has her mother's last name, Paula Bryant. And then her father's name is Myron Hammonds, and his mother's name is Janine Hammonds. So he has his mother's last name. Something was already going on inside of the family when Ma'Khia and her sisters and brothers were born, because there was something happening where the father, who had his mother's last name, was not able to give his children his last name, right? Not even a hyphenated last name. So something else was going on. And then they're going to talk about that a little bit more in the article, right? All right. When her grandmother was kicked out by her landlord, the siblings went into foster care and spent 2 years cycling through the short-term placement arrangements that dissolve one after another. So what is it that you all are hearing here? The grandmother was able to get custody of the children because somebody wrote on my video last night that the grandmother tried to get custody. They wouldn't give the grandmother. She had custody, but then the children were removed from her home. Why? She was evicted. Listen, there's the whole case is going to come out, but the information is just is startling. People who knew Ma'Khia had trouble recognizing her in the chaotic footage of the shooting released by the police. Staff members at her school saw her as quiet and diligent, the kind of student who would hug her teachers' aides. I mean, let's continue. Who would hug her teachers' aides? The kind of student who would hug her teacher's aides every morning before math. She had a tight knot of girlfriends who lavished one another with affection. Aaliyah Tucker, 16, recalled her once coming to school with her hair in an outrageous style she called the rainbow horn, extending vertically from the top of her head and then bursting into a mop. She didn't care what other people thought of her, said Aaliyah, who allowed tears to run down her face. She taught us how to love ourselves. And then here's a video of Ma'Khia. Let's see what this is going to show. It's not playing for us. And I don't know if I keep clicking, if it's going to take us to another page, but it's not playing. But we'll scroll back up and see if we can get it to play. By this spring, when Ma'Khia's sister placed the first call to the police, her life in foster care had spiraled into dysfunction and disorder, family members said, and it was about to get much worse. The shoot of the system. In 2018, Paula Bryant had moved with her 5 children, including a teenage son from a previous relationship, into a house in West Columbus, where she said in an interview the landlords did not mind her credit problems. Mr. Hammonds, Ma'Khia's father, did not live with the family, and Ms. Bryant described herself as raising the children largely on her own. This whole thing is just such a mess. I want to get to the part where they start talking about why she went into foster care, because you all remember she went into foster care because there were reports by all of the children, by the 4 children who were removed about physical violence from the mother as well as an older sibling, which means that son. So the son that they're talking about was physically abusing his younger sisters, and the mother was physically abusing them as well. Let's continue going forward. This whole situation is a mess, right? All right. The Hilltop neighborhood once housed blue-collar workers for a General Motors plant, but the plant was shuttered years ago, and many of the bungalows have been converted into cheap rentals. It has one of the highest crime rates in the city. Andrea Douglas, 37, a pastor's wife who lived 2 doors down from the Bryant family that year, has gotten used to turbulence. When shootings occur on the block, she said, it's a big hubbub for a day or two, and then life just moves on. But 3 years later, she can still remember the fights between Miss Bryant and her daughters. The girls ran out of the house terrified and were hanging out in the backyard screaming while the mom was yelling at them, Miss Douglas said, recalling that she was worried about their safety. I never want kids to be afraid. When kids are afraid, that's a problem. Listen, you know what? We're going to go back to the studio audience. I want to see what what you all in the studio audience have to say about what we've heard so far. All right. So I've allowed you all to start taking yourselves off of mute, but I want somebody to put their hand up so that we can so that I can see who wants to speak. So Joanna's hand is up, right? Joanna's the only person whose hand I see up. So Joanna, you're off of mute. Let me add you to the screen. This is about as far as I got in the article earlier today.
My thing is, I feel like they're trying to make it seem like she's a product of her environment. And that's kind of saying it's what it seems like to me, that they're trying to spin the story that she's a product of her environment. Just because you're a little bit under the poverty value does not mean that you have to act like that. So to me, they are trying to just make it seem like, well, because her family was this or her family was that, this is why she acted like that, or this is why she was in foster care. No, she was in that situation because of her family, not because of her product and her neighborhood or anything like that. Her mom possibly could have used parenting classes. It all starts at the beginning. And unfortunately, it ended with the baby or the young lady, as we would call her. But at the end of the day, it sounds like the journalist, again, is trying to make it seem as though it's a product of the environment. That's all I really have.
I mean, but somebody asked, aren't we all a product of our environment?
Not necessarily. I would say not necessarily, because my husband came from a very poor background, came from a horrible background. And our kids are not like that. He was not raised like that. And you would never be able to know that. So we're not all a product of our environment. You can change your environment or the way that you're raised at any time. It's a choice of you to make that decision, not anyone else.
Interesting. All right. So is there somebody else that wanted to say something? Throw your hand up so that I can see you. All right. So we have Sean that is up next. Let me, all right.
Hey, Tanya. What I hear from it is if she was such a sweet girl who wore her hair however she wanted to and does not care what people think, and she hugs all her teachers' assistants and everyone's so shocked by her behavior, it's a family issue because her father was out there.
What do you mean her father was out there?
Didn't her father kick the other girl?
Oh, you mean out there with the fight? Okay. I thought you meant out there, like in the streets. Okay.
Oh, no, I meant to say with her. I'm sorry, I'm from Florida, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, he was out there with her. And so if she was such a sweet child when her family was not around, well, maybe she was feeding off her father's energy and what he does. and how they act and what she witnessed as a child from her parents. That's what I get from it.
That's interesting. That's an interesting point of view. So you think that the family brought the worst out of her?
Yes, because I mean, if she was fighting her, if her mom, you think about it, if her mom and her older sibling were fighting them, 3 years prior to now, or 4 years or whatnot, that means she was 12. Her younger siblings were under 10.
Mm.
I do have a stretch of children. My oldest is 25, he'll be 26. My middle child is 22, and my youngest is 6. And there's no way. I mean, I couldn't imagine myself fighting my children, but she was fighting children. They were children to the point where they're running out the house and the neighbor was concerned for their safety and well-being.
Yeah.
So that is what they were used to. If her father was there behaving that way, and she comes out with a knife chasing people, and there was no like redirecting her, that is the energy that she was used to from her family.
Oh, interesting.
To me, that does not help the family's case at all. I mean, from what I hear and what I see, what was said does not help the family's case, because when she was away from her family, that's what they're saying, she was a sweet child. When she was with her family, it's chaos.
Interesting. All right. Well, thank you for adding that point of view, Sean. Very interesting. All right. Let's see who we have up next. There are a few other people from the audience who want to speak. So we have Melissa, who is up next. Okay. All right. So Melissa, come forward. Unmute yourself, Melissa.
I'm unmuted.
Yes. Okay. So go ahead.
I sort of feel like
There's a lot of background noise coming from around you. Is that the TV or something?
That's the kids online at school.
Oh, okay. Okay. My bad.
I can't really turn that. I'm leaving the room now.
Okay.
I feel like we can't. I feel like we don't know all the facts. They're not going to give us all the facts. We can't trust what we've read, right? Can we trust that? Are they telling us facts?
Are who telling us facts? Because there's information coming from all over the place.
Right. It's coming from all sides. We don't know what's true. I feel like we can't really, I mean, I don't see how any of it matters. That child should not have been shot. That's ridiculous. There's no, you know what I mean? If she was stabbing someone, it's probably because she felt like she was in danger.
So you feel so according to you, you feel that if she was stabbing a person, she felt like she was in danger.
Yeah.
Even though the person that she went to stab was walking towards the police for help.
Yeah. They're like I say, I feel like there's instances and problems that we don't know about. Okay. We don't know if that was the case. This is just what they're telling us. All we can go on is what they're telling us. And I think what we learned from Trump is we can't believe anything they tell us in the media. They tell us what they want us to know.
You quoting Trump now?
I'm saying what we learned from him is that we cannot trust the media and what they tell us.
Okay.
The false facts are everywhere. They're dropping down. You can't pontificate on what's happening because the truth is we don't really know what's happening. We don't know.
Okay.
We know the little facts that they gave us, which all lead to a conclusion.
There's one thing that we do know. There's one thing that we do know. We do know that she had a knife in her hand, swinging that hand towards another person's throat. That's one thing that we do know. We don't know what took place before. We don't know what happened in the furor of the family or hearsay from other people. But we do know that we saw her with a knife lunging it towards the throat of a person who was walking towards the police asking for help. That's what we do
That's
know.
what we saw. But that's what we saw. What was that person doing before?
Whatever that person was doing before was no longer an immediate threat in front of the police. At that time, the police are on the scene to handle what's going on. So we see that a person with a knife was lunging towards a person in front of the police, a person who was not, at the time that she lunged for her, threatening her. She was going to stab a person who was unarmed, or a person who was not, in that time, in that moment, threatening her life. That's what we saw.
I hear that. But I'm saying we don't know. Maybe she threatened her family prior. Maybe she felt like this is something this girl needed to be stopped at all costs.
In front of her father?
Well, he is also a questionable person in the situation, right?
Okay.
We don't
Listen.
know his story.
Well, you know what? Listen, she had a knife going to stab unarmed people. She tried to stab the girl on the floor, who the person who is said to be her father in the video kicked in the head. Then she went to go stab the person who was walking towards the police. And then not only that, one of the things that is a little concerning to me that I heard in this article is that Janiyah says her sister, Micaiah, told her about wanting to get out of the foster care system before she turned 18 and wanting to go back to her family. Janiyah, according to the New York Times article, Janiyah had called the police 23 days before and said that she was going to kill someone. I don't know whether or not these young ladies in their teenage minds came up with some sort of plot, because at this point, Janiyah has already stated that they want to kill people. She's already stated they want to kill people. And then the police came on the scenes that day with the young lady wielding a knife and getting ready to stab a person who's walking towards the police.
Yeah, but I just feel like that's convenient for the police.
How is it? What do you mean convenient for the police?
That she called and said she was going to kill someone. Like, I don't believe that. Why would she call the police to say that?
This is according to the 911 call that the journalist says they heard from the New York Times. They have the 911 calls are recorded.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so you're saying that could be false information.
On some level, it could be.
Okay.
I'm saying that we can only base an opinion on what they've given us.
Well, you know what? I appreciate your point of view, Melissa. Thank you. This is a new point of view that we've heard, so we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. So this is so interesting. I'm so happy for the studio audience. We get to hear different points of views. We're going to get back to the article, but I'm going to take one more person before we get back into the article. So the next person up is Tanya. So Tanya W., please come forward, unmute yourself.
Okay, I am unmuting myself. Can you hear me?
All right, wonderful. Yes, you're here.
So I definitely think that Micaiah was definitely a product of her environment.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of anger at home. That anger also came with her when she went into foster care. I think the place that she was at, there was a lot of turmoil going on there.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't get along with the people that lived there. So it started at home. I do believe in some way the system kind of failed her too, because she was crying out and, with anger and fighting. I also, at that scene, all these adults that were around, including her father, why wasn't it that everybody was recording, no one came up to that girl and, tried to talk to her, tried to get the knife away from her, tried to do something. It's
you
like
saw how fast she was moving?
Yeah, I know, but it had to be other stuff going on prior to we start seeing it video. Like what was going on prior to it even being videoed? Like, no, I just don't understand, all these adults around. And once the cops got there, I don't understand why she needed to have a knife and try to, stab someone. Obviously there's been a whole lot of stuff going on. But once the cops got there was no need for a knife. I mean, even if she wanted to fist fight him, the knife part, like, I just didn't understand that because, once a cop see a weapon, 9 times out of 10, they're going to discharge their weapon. It's just what it is. And unfortunately, that's what happened. And so the cops felt like, she was trying to attack somebody, so somebody needed to be saved. And she unfortunately was the one that he took out.
Wow, that's deep. Thank you. And you're saying this as a mother.
Yeah, it's crazy. It was very unfortunate, and I'm just so pissed off with the father because he was there. Like, what are you doing fighting girls? How about getting your daughter and taking that gun out? I'm sorry, the knife out of her hand, so that when the cops got there, she wouldn't be shot to death. Like,
yeah.
I don't understand where his mind was at or what was going on. But again, she was failed at home, so it started there.
He probably was trying to keep it real, showing that he's gully or something. He probably came out there trying to regulate. Who knows? But you're right. She should have been taken out of that situation. She did not need to be there trying to fight and stab people with her father. Like, it was too much. All right. Thank you for your point of view.
All right. Thank you.
All right. All right, so listen, we're going to jump back to the article and then we're going to come back to the studio audience and get some more feedback. If you all are enjoying this whole studio audience feedback thing during the video, go ahead and put up a number 7. I'd like to hear from you all and see how you all feel about that. Give me just one moment. I'm just making sure that all right. Oh, so you all are liking it. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Budafly, what are you doing over here? That's right. You're adminning. Okay. All right. Okay, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Okay. All right. So let's continue going forward. I feel like there's a lot going on right now. All right. So let's get the article back up. I want to finish the article and see where the article is going. All right. All right. So that's when the neighbor was saying when kids are afraid, that's a problem. The family had been on the radar of Children's Services for several years amid repeated complaints that the 2 youngest children were absent from school. Oh, Lord, the children wasn't going to school? Oh, my goodness. You know what? Listen, I'm going to open up for some apples. So if you all have some comments that you want to pull up, the apples are open, right? Oh my gosh. So the kids weren't going to school and the mother had been on the radar for years. This is unbelievable. Okay, in February 2017, Miss Bryant took Micaiah, Janiyah, and 2 younger siblings to one of the agency's offices and said she was at her wit's end and could no longer handle them. According to a Children's Services document outlining the case, the children, Ms. Bryant told the agency, had no respect for those around them. You know something? What in the HE double hockey sticks? So the mother took the children, good God. So now she wants social services to pay her for the death of her child that she took to them and said, my children have no respect. I need you to take them off my hands. You know what? I need to hear from the studio audience. Listen, raise your hands up. I need to hear from you all. We're going to read some more of the article, but I'm disgusted right now. And I need to hear from you all. So let's see. So next person up we have is Angelica V, right? Angelica, unmute yourself. I'm going to bring you to the screen in a moment. This is unbelievable. All right, Angelica, you need to unmute yourself. You're still muted. Angelica, you're muted. Let me click. I'm asking you to unmute right now.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you now.
I was just trying to unmute myself here. Yes, the whole situation is, unfortunately, it's very tragic to me. What happened to the young lady.
Mm-hmm.
But like the other people were saying, is the mother definitely fell from the beginning, obviously, and then for her place from one home to the next, that didn't either help the situation either. So unfortunately, this child must have been having a lot of build up anger in her for a while in order for her to come to the situation in trying, to stab somebody when she was being picked on and so forth. And then another thing is, I don't understand, what kind of father are you and what kind of example are you setting to your child by beating up another young lady at the moment before, the cops arrive? The whole thing is just ludicrous to me.
Yeah, thank you for that. Thank you. Oh my goodness. All right, next person we have up. So listen, we're gonna mute you back. Thank you for your comment. Next person we have up is Theandra. Theandra, unmute yourself. Oh my goodness. Theandra?
Yes.
All right, go ahead now. Let's hear.
This story is terrible. This
Yeah.
whole girl, she was her mama failed her daddy failed her, and even sad to say, to a certain extent, even the grandmama failed her. Everybody failed her.
Yes.
It just is. I have twin 16-year-old daughters,
Mm.
and they have every tool, everything that I, as a mom, could teach them to be a better kid, to obey the laws, to get everything they can get out of school, to just give the best of themselves. They know who they are. They know they're queens. They know that they are beautiful, smart young ladies. And it seemed like Micaiah's parents, from the beginning, nobody never told this to these poor kids. Nobody never said, okay, you can do this, you can do this. And it's really sad and unfortunate. And it seemed like from just the failure overall, it just, and all the hurt and all the pain, and because she wasn't taught well to, just the simplest things, that this girl felt as if the only way to handle the situation on that day was to run out that door with a knife. And it's just really unfortunate, and it's sad, and it just seemed like now everybody want to blame the system. Everybody want to blame the state of Ohio foster system, because it's their fault, because it's not their fault. I mean, the parents need to take responsibility, and they just need to deal with what's going on.
Well, hold on. You don't feel that the foster care system is at fault in any way whatsoever?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that the foster care system is not at fault in any percentage, but I don't feel like the foster care system is the majority of the fault. No, it comes from, it started from the home, in my opinion, for the situation here, dealing with Micaiah Bryant. I feel like there are kids that are in foster care that there may have been mishaps and stuff that may have happened in their houses, and even still with going to somebody else's house, I don't know. I just don't feel like all the blame is on the foster care system in this case.
No, listen, I feel you. Thank you so much for your point of view, Theandra.
You're welcome.
All right, we're gonna take one more comment from oops, sorry, I clicked to unmute you. Sorry. I just wanted to lower your hand. We're gonna take one more comment and then we're going to jump back over. So the next comment up is Nina. So Nina, come forward, unmute yourself.
Hello, Tanya.
Yes, hi. So what's your comment here?
My comment is essentially there's a lack of accountability on a lot of the birth parents' parts when their children end up being taken from them. I myself have adopted 2 children. It was a familial adoption. So these were actually my niece and nephew.
Oh, wow.
From the moment they were placed with me, their mom, who's also my niece, hated me, hated my husband.
What?
Blamed us for taking her kids from her. Her mother, who was my sister, blamed us for taking the kids. My own mother blamed us for taking the kids. And I tried to explain, I don't have that kind of power. If DCFS is called and there's actual cause, they're going to take the kids. Now, what happened at first was my mom was keeping the kids, and she didn't have the type of support that she needed. because she works overnight. She couldn't get daycare hours. She didn't have time for sleeping. No one else was helping her with the kids. And so literally on a Thursday afternoon, DCFS called us. We were doing respite on weekends for my mother. DCFS called us on a Thursday and said, can you take the kids? I said, okay, sure. When? There was like, this afternoon. Me and my husband were like, okay. And so the parents in the situation, when you have DCFS involved and they've taken your kids and it's for cause and this was abuse, they give you, I don't know how many chances to get your stuff together. There's a whole program we have to work. There's parenting classes they give you. They start off with just the supervised visitations with the agents. You can then work your way up. If it looks like you're making progress, you can work your way up to third-party supervision, which my sister did. And then the first time they had a visit, my now son was injured in their care at a church event. Yes. So
wait. What?
So my sister fought tooth and nail to be the third-party supervisor for the visits.
Yeah.
She got that. And the very first time they went out, there was an incident where they didn't want to leave because it was a little fun church event and the kids didn't really want to leave. And so my niece got upset because my nephew didn't want to put his coat on. And so when she jacked him up to put his coat on, there's a big penny-sized, I called it a gouge. My sister called it a scratch, whatever, in his neck. It was penny-sized. And so I called DCFS immediately because when he walked in the house, I couldn't see in the car. It was dark. When they got in the house, the lights on, I saw it. I said, oh, hell no. And I got my husband. I said, what the F is, I kind of went off because I promised the babies they would not be hurt while I was taking care of them. And the first second they had a chance to not be under my supervision, they got hurt. So
How old was he?
He was, at that time, that was 3 years ago, he was 8 or 9. We've had them for a while. They were in foster care for 3 years while their mom was working her plan. And she always had, they call, there's two different things. There's actual, there's progress and there's effort. So she was always making the effort. She was making no progress. And then they did a mental evaluation on her to test her bond with the kids. And she doesn't have a bond with Joseph. And that's why she was violent toward him. The little girl, she was never really violent toward, but my nephew, she was always like, she didn't know how to discipline correctly. And she would get overly mad at him. And they don't know if it was because of her relationship with the father of him. I don't know all the details in that way, but I know that they determined psychologically she didn't have a bond with him, and that's why she had a higher propensity to hurt him again in the future. So I say all of that to say this. The young lady, and I can't say every foster house is the same because I know I'm a loving person. This is my niece and nephew, so this was family. But when you have an entire family of folks and no one else will take care of them, including, like, let's say my sister could have took those kids herself instead of blaming me for taking them from her daughter, but she would have had to put her grown daughter out and she didn't want to do that. That's a choice that you're choosing. You're choosing a grown person over children, which I'm sorry, I will never do. So I don't feel any guilt or shame or anything because we have the kids. I do. They did call DCFS on me. They said the kids were dirty and their hair was not combed, which is just not the case. And it was funny because we had the supervisors will come and visit you every single week. They do weekly visits. And when the case manager is available, then her manager will come. And when her manager isn't available, then her manager's manager will come every single week to do a home visit. Okay. So they knew when they got the call, it was a false claim. So they said, we're not even taking it serious. Like, I was like, no, my niece's hair, I don't comb it every single day because we're growing it out and it's natural. So when you comb it every single day styling, it'll break it off. Her hair is down at her waist now. So I think I know a little bit what I'm doing. But my sister was like, their shoes don't fit, their feet are deformed. And then the caseworker was like, so I can see their feet aren't deformed. So we're just gonna close that out.
Feet are deformed.
It was just crazy. And so my husband was like, my husband lost all kind of respect for my family. And I tried to explain to him, this is how they've always been. So I'm not sure why you lost respect for them. It's like, there's no accountability there. You know, it's Micaiah was failed because her parents, her mother and her father didn't take proper care of her, because when that is happening, even if DCFS gets called, they don't just walk up to your door with the police and yank your kids out of your care. They actually have to do an investigation. If anyone has ever had their kids just yanked out and there was no investigation, please go to court, because you can sue DCFS for that. They have to come out, they have to evaluate the situation, they have to see what's going on, they have to talk to people that report it. All that stuff happens before your kids get taken out of the house. And then once they're taken, they're not automatically adopted.
Right.
My babies were in foster care for over 3 years before we got the adoption finalized. And they gave her time after time after time to work her classes, to show some improvement, and there was never any actual progress. It was always just effort, and you can't get by with, I went to the classes if you haven't changed anything. Now, in Micaiah's case, what I read was the mother wasn't even doing the classes. So I don't know how you expect to get your children back if you're not doing your part to show that you can ably take care of them. And it's not about money. Okay, it's not about money.
No,
Me
I
and my
feel
husband
you.
are not rich by any stretch of the means. It's not about money. It's about providing a safe, stable environment for the kids where they feel loved and wanted. And that's all we've ever done.
So hold on,
because
because we do have to get back to the thing. Your story is fascinating. I'd love to hear more, but we are on time constraints. But so you're saying that the children that you adopted are your sister's daughter's children?
Yes.
And your sister's angry at you, her daughter is angry at you, and the kids were angry at you, or they were happy?
The kids were fine. The kids have always been fine.
Okay. So the people in your mother, your sister, and her daughter were all angry at you for taking the children in?
Yes, blamed us. My mom's not angry as much as she didn't think it was right the way we took her kids from her.
Even though the children, so they did an investigation, they found that the children were abused. They did an investigation and showed that she did not have a bond with the 9-year-old, and you think it could have something to do with the relationship she had with the 9-year-old's father.
Yeah, and he's a little the boy is a little developmentally delayed. And so his reactions aren't the same. So you have to work with him, but
when you say developmentally delayed, is he on the spectrum?
He's never been when they tested him, they didn't find that he was on the spectrum. I believe he is, but they didn't find that he was.
Interesting.
He essentially is about 2 years behind developmentally, like mentally developmentally, because he was exposed to drugs in utero.
I'm sorry, 10 years?
2 years.
Oh,
not
I was
10,
about
2.
to say, he's
no.
10 years and he's only 9? That means he's back to a fetus.
Nah.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what? Thank you so much. We're going to jump back to the article. I'm going to get everybody else back on mute. All right, perfect. So this is very interesting. I appreciate all of you for coming out, and thank you to all of the people who support the show with monthly contributions and who support the show with helping me test and sending me messages. And we're going to read some of the apples right now. I am working on getting the system. We're working on creating so many changes behind the scenes. When you see what I have in mind for the Tanya TKO show, you're gonna clap a thunderous applause. You're gonna clap thunderously because I like what we're doing here today. I like it. If you want to join the text notification squad to get a notification for whenever I go live, go to TanyaTKO.com and click on text. There you can join for $1.99 a month. Or $4.99 a month if you're international. So US and Canada, $1.99 a month. If you are international, it'll be $4.99 a month. And it's just an amazing service so that whichever platform I'm live on, you can get the notification. So if you're unsubscribed or you're not getting a notification, or you're on Facebook and you want to be able to know when I'm going live, because I barely ever go live on Facebook anymore. And as a matter of fact, I want to cut Facebook out of the loop, but I will still upload videos to Facebook. But Facebook is a different story. It's a different story over there. So I appreciate all of you coming out to add your points of views. Let me read some of the apples right now. Right. So we got Yatunde said that there was some issues. Angela said that there was no sound. Angelica was criticizing technology. Nina was telling me that there was a sound issue. And Chigozie just sent $10 and said foster care system is not at fault at all. Interesting. So Chigozie does not think that the foster care system is at fault at all. You know what? Raise your hand. I want to hear your point of view. She goes, yeah, and please change your name on the thing so I can know who you are there, because I forgot what your real name was. Nonetheless, let's jump back to the article. Hey, look, her story is saying this platform is getting better and better with brown thumbs up. Hey, go ahead and thumbs up the video, share the video. Invite other people to lend their points of view. All right. Oh, I feel like I need a drink of water. Okay, so where did we leave off in the article? Oh, we left off where the children were not going to school. Lord of mercy. That's the part that just really, all right. So I would love to take a survey. Micaiah's mother took her 4 children to the thing and said, these children have no respect for me. Do you think she was telling the truth? Or do you think she was lying? Because what is the truth? Is Micaiah, because she was on TV crying, oh, she's an A student, she's the sweetest girl. But then just years before, she took them in saying they had no respect. Was Micaiah out of control, or was the mother out of control? If you, oh gosh, what should the survey numbers be? All right. So we have already done, I think we have not done 8 and 9 yet. All right. So if you think that Micaiah may have been a problem teenager acting out and showing no respect, put up the number 8. If you think the mother was problematic and exhibiting issues and being abusive or whatnot, do you think Micaiah was the one who had no respect, or do you think her mother was out of control? 8 if you think it was Micaiah, 9 if you think it was the mama. 8 for Micaiah, 9 for the mama. Okay, so we got some votes coming in. Okay. All right. Okay, so most of you think that it was the mother. Pinky thinks it was both. Interesting. Okay, so most people are saying that they think that it was the mother. A few people are saying that it's both. Okay, interesting. Me personally, I don't know what to think. I don't, because anybody who has ever gotten through the teenage phase with a child knows that when kids become teenagers, there's something clicks in their brain, like the sweet loving switch goes off and they turn into these monsters. Oh my goodness. But yeah, so I don't know. Were they disrespecting her? Or was the mother just abusive and just didn't know how to handle her children? So this is very interesting. Judah is like 99999. God damn it. Okay, listen, we hear you. We hear you, sis. We hear you. Okay. Just Jay says teenagers are tough, not all of them. Hey, listen, let's get back to the article. Let's get back. We've been on for an hour and 12 minutes, so we are going to need to jump out of here. We had a little bit of a sound delay, so we're going to continue going forward. All right. The move to Hilltop had been difficult for her daughters, who missed their friends on the east side, Miss Bryant said. They were kind of rebelling in the home, she said. The police came, she said, when she was arguing with Micaiah and Janiyah over bedtimes, and their younger sister, Azariah, ran outside and yelled for help. So why would a child run outside and yell for help over a bedtime issue? This stuff that's just not adding up. What was taking place that was going on? Because at the time that they were taken out of the house, Micaiah was 13, Janiyah was 10, and the other one, Azariah, I don't know her age, but she ran outside begging for help. What was going on? Remember when they were put into foster care, all of the children said that the mother was violent, and they agreed to go into foster care because they said the mother was violent. So let's continue going forward. This is interesting. The story just keeps getting more and more involved. All right. The officers said, you have just lost control as a parent, meaning you can tell them to go to bed, go upstairs right now, and they're not going to go, she said. The children told police officers that they had suffered physical abuse from their mother and an older half brother, according to the mother's lawyer, Michelle Martin. Though Ms. Bryant denied ever abusing them, a magistrate judge dismissed the abuse claims against Ms. Bryant in February 2019, but found that she had neglected the children, according to court documents. This whole story is just messy. Ms. Bryant said that she was detained while Micaiah and her 3 younger siblings went in the paddy wagon. What the hell is a paddy wagon? I'm so what? Wait, I'm sorry, what is a paddy wagon? A paddy wagon is like a padded wagon? Is that like the place that you take? Is that a place that you take people who you don't want to get hurt on the side of the vehicle, so you put them in a padded wagon? So they were letting butterflies out. This is Miss Hammonds, their grandmother, took the 4 children into her 2-bedroom apartment, sleeping on the couch so the kids could have the beds. After about 6 months, she began receiving $1,200 a month in aid from the state to cover their care. People getting $1,200 a month to take care of 4 children? Interesting. All right. $1,200 a month from the state to cover their care. Service agencies offered far less. This is just sad. Offered far less support to family members who agree to take care of children in need. Oh, wow. So you get more if you're a non-family member. The per diem allowances paid to licensed foster parents are often 10 times greater than the public assistance paid to relatives. 10 times? So we're talking about $12,000 a month? Hold on. It is time listen, you know what? I ain't going to say nothing, but oh my goodness. Wow. This is, how can foster parents not treat children well? This is so crazy. You should be thankful. This is craziness. This is craziness. All right. A grandparent can become licensed as a foster parent, but it can take as long as 6 months, said Anthony Capizzi, an Ohio family court judge who took part in a comprehensive review of the state's family services in 2019. Ms. Hammonds did not have that long to wait. I was worn out, she recalled. I was doing all the laundry, all the cooking, and I was working a part-time job at the time. And it was difficult because these children came from a lot of dysfunction. This is the grandmother. This is the mother of the father, the one with the afro puff, who was out there kicking girls, punting women in the head. This is his mother, who is saying the children came from a lot of dysfunction and caring for them as the grandmother was not easy. Oh my Lordy. All right. And it was difficult because these children came from a lot of dysfunction. Then her landlord found out that the children had moved into the apartment and told her she would have to move. She scrambled, placing the older girls at a summer camp and the younger 2 siblings in temporary foster care. When the camp ended, she had few options. In desperation, she called the children's caseworker to ask if she could take them to a hotel with her for a few nights, but the caseworker says that was not allowed. He told her to drop the 2 other girls off at Franklin County Children's Services, a hulking brick edifice in downtown Columbus. She found it frustrating. She felt the children belonged with their family. They could have just given me what they give one foster parent, and then I could have gotten housing, taken care of the kids, and done what I needed to do, Ms. Hammond said. When they pulled up to the building, she said Micaiah did not want to get out of the car. She didn't want to leave me, she said. I think about that all the time. Oh my God, this is a lot to take in. I'm gonna go back over to the studio audience and get some points of view. This is a lot to take in. So the grandmother lost her apartment and was evicted because there were 6 people, or at least 5 people living in a 2-bedroom apartment, right? So they said that the kids had to leave. She put the older child in summer camp and the two younger ones in foster care while she tried to get her housing situation taken care of. She said she didn't have enough money to rent a place large enough for the kids, and that she felt that the foster care system should have given her more money. Where was the mother and the father? Nobody. No one could get a place big enough for 4 children. Why did you have 4 children and you didn't have a place big enough for? Oh, this is giving me a headache. This is blowing my mind. Let me see who has their hand up over here. All right. All right, the next person up is Nina. Give me 1 second. Let me hold on. Give me 1 second. I got to get the audio and all of that stuff. All right. Next person up is Nina. Go ahead and unmute yourself, Nina.
Hi, how are you today, Tanya?
I'm fine. I'm just a little confused by everything that I'm hearing. Well, what are you? What?
Well,
Come,
so am I.
Give me some thoughts and feedback, because
Here
I
was
know
my-
that you're.
I was going to ask some clarifying questions.
Yes.
Okay, help me understand this. I don't know if I just missed this. Okay, was she on a visitation first with her biological family?
Was she on it? What do you mean? I don't understand the question.
So dad was there in the original video, right? She's in foster care, right? So how was she with her original family? Was it a scheduled visit? Do we even know that?
I don't think we know that, but one thing that we do know is that the grandmother, so I guess because of their age, the family knew the foster family's address, because the grandmother says she was picking them up, going for drives. The father was obviously there. It just was a mess.
You know, I guess the one thing I take issue with is, none of us can say who 100% is at fault, and I think we all can agree that a lot of hands took place in this death, unfortunately. But I will say this, just from my experience in the foster system, they have a social worker. And a lot of times, I know in my state, at that age, you'll also have what's called a CASA worker, which is pretty much a volunteer that is not, they're indifferent, and they're only there to check in with the teen or the child to make sure they're doing okay. So just knowing, and then even what Nina had said before, I mean, the visits are weekly, maybe bi-weekly, depending on the situation. So I don't think we can eliminate that the foster care system was not at play here, because how many people are checking in with this home? How many people are checking in with these teens? Someone dropped the ball here. And yeah, it's unfortunate, so unfortunate that it ended up this way. But we cannot eliminate out the foster care system, because they had a huge play in that. And that's my only thing I wanted to say.
Okay. When you say they had a huge play, a play in what way? You feel that they weren't checking up regularly enough?
Something wasn't happening correctly. There's no way. If they are in a situation where they are with DCSF and they have an active case going on, social workers, if they're doing their job correctly, and a lot of them do, they should be checking in and knowing what's going on, and not just with the kids, it's from everybody, just like Nina had explained. So, I mean, I just don't understand how it escalates to this point if everybody was doing their job in the system.
Okay, got you. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, so next person we have up is Tanisha. So Tanisha, come forward. And then after that, we have Tanya. Unmute yourself. Okay, perfect. All of this, you're making me dizzy. Let me make you small again. I can't take all this tumbling around. Oh, my Lord. Oh, my goodness. Okay. What happened to Tanisha, who was just up on the thing?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. So, Nina, you need to put yourself back on mute because you came up to the front. All right. You know what? Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. As a
Okay,
matter of fact,
awesome.
hold on. Let me make sure that I mute everyone and
Yeah.
take away people's. Okay, there we go. So, all right. So unmute yourself now so that you can talk. I can't hear you. I'm pressing you the button to unmute. There you go. Unmute yourself.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Hey Tanya, how you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay, good. So I'm not gonna talk about the mom or anything. I can put my opinion in saying that the mother is a narcissist. I can tell you that. But I'm gonna tell you about the group home because I've worked in a group home, the foster care system, everything before I got my license. And it's the most horrible job I've ever had when dealing with the I'm talking about the teenage girls. The boys are not like that. The babies are great, but
yeah, I'm having a hard time seeing you because of the lighting that you're in. Can you go near a window or anything like that so that we can see you a little bit better? Or open those shades? You got them hotel dark shades on.
Off, child. It's my day off. How's that?
No, you don't have on a bonnet.
Yes, I do. Oh, okay. All right. Hold on.
She got on the bonnet of salvation on my broadcast, and she knew she was coming on camera. Thank you. What is going on?
It's my day off. I'm so sorry.
That ain't no excuse. You raised your hand. I didn't just pick on you. You looked at yourself and said, "Oh, I'm ready now. I got the bonnet of salvation to pull to the side." All right.
They gonna get me, child. Okay. All right.
And now it's hanging off your back. It's distracting.
Lord Jesus.
Thank you. How are we supposed to look at this big bonnet on your back? All right. Go ahead now. Let's finish hearing what you say.
So I've on my second day, well, we all get a file to get to know the girls. Okay. Mm-hmm. We all get a file to get to know them, their situation, their background, where they're coming from, everything, the medication that they're on, everything. We get a big, thick folder.
Okay.
Let me tell you, I can't even think of anything good to say. I'm gonna be honest with you. They're going through their little menstrual thing, their hormonal changes and everything, and they'll come up with all the excuses in the world. Mm-hmm. But on my second night, I mean, I was hit by ice. I was hit over the head.
Hold on. The foster children was beating you up?
They beat my ass. Okay. Because can I say ass?
You can.
I'm sorry.
But the foster children were beating you up.
They beat my ass. I'm gonna tell you why. Because I can't hit back. And a lot of the other therapists or clinical workers or whatever who are working under like me, because I didn't have a license or anything like that yet. But they just stay out of it. Why? Because nobody want to write all that 6-page report and all that stuff. So I'll be sitting down and they will hit me with ice cubes like rocks, hit me in my forehead. Thank God I got my wig on. And they were just hitting me and they laugh and they gang up, and you have to lock away your keys. You have to lock away your pocketbook, because if they get your car keys, they can steal your car. Okay. And go on a joyride. What happened to all the
reports of these sweet, loving children who just want a home?
Now I'm talking about my experience about in there for years. And I'm talking about the teenage girls only. The little boys, they'll just look at you sexually, and some of them just really need a mom and a mom figure or whatever. So I get a different reaction, different feel from the boys. I'm talking about just
and then
the girls
your co-workers would just watch you getting beat up. There.
Listen, one night, let me give you one example. I'm sitting around the table. Everything was finished. We're watching the girls. We were all in the living room, and the girls were just, chilling. There's nothing going on. All of a sudden, one of them, she's 14 years old. She's bigger than me, child. She's tall, big, like grown. And she's been hitting me with ice cubes, and they're like, ignore her, ignore her. And I'm like, but it hurts. And she's hitting me in my back, my face. And she hit me with, I don't know what she hit me with, but I think it wasn't ice cubes. And I filled up a jug of water and I poured it over her head. And I said, bitch, you need to calm down. I forget all of my professional everything and then she punched me in my face and we started fighting. And this is what they do. They do that when they can't get away, when they can't run away, when they can't get what they need to do. What got on my side was that I was trying to hold her off and I walked away and she came after me and she destroyed my car.
Wait,
so
what?
Police. Yeah. She got a bat and she went for my car. And nobody was trying to hold her back. I mean, the other girls were laughing, he, and the other workers were, did we have a nurse on staff? We didn't have a nurse because it was, like I said, it was late at night. We're waiting for some other people to come in. And everybody else who were professionals, they didn't want to get involved because they didn't want to do all that report. Nobody wanted to do that. And I stopped and I said, stop, you need to stop. But I was upset because you've been hitting me for hours. So I'm human. So I'm gonna retaliate somehow. And this girl is just as big as me. This is not no little girl we're talking about, big girl. And we have to hide the knives. We hide the forks, we hide the scissors. We hide certain things in the home, just like we can't tell them the name of our children. We can't tell them that we're married. We're not supposed to even tell them we have children. How does she
know which car was yours then?
Oh, they know. They know because they're trying to steal your keys. They're trying to be friends with you and be nice with you. They don't like you. They want to get away. And I'm only speaking on the behalf, this is not individual, but I know how some of these girls are, which is why they're not living at home. And I went to homes or foster places to check on some of the worst of the worst, some of the fire starters, some of the molesters. They are molesters also, not just boys, okay? The stories, the things that they've done to their own siblings because of what has been done to them by family members. Yes, they have been failed. Yes, nature versus nurture. Yes, I understand all of that. But they're not all of them are innocent. Not all of them are innocent.
Somebody made the comment and said, but she's a child, not a woman.
I understand she's a child, but she hit like a grown woman. And I am not, okay? I need to go home to my children. And I called 911. When the police got there, one of the managers was on speaker because another therapist called and was on speaker, and she was like, well, why did she call the police? She don't know we handle our own thing here. We don't call the police. And the police turned around and said, ma'am, if your life is in danger, you need to call us. And because of some of these neighborhoods these foster homes are in, the neighbors are tired of seeing the police being called
Are you serious?
over at these homes. Now, listen, everybody can say she's a child, I understand, which is why we chose this career. We didn't choose this job because they pay a lot of money, because they don't pay us nothing, okay? We choose it because we have a sense of care. I want to adopt a child so much, but the stuff that I have to go through or be a foster mom, but the hoops that I have to jump through, no, thank you. It's okay. I can't. But then the raggedy people that I've seen that they, oops, I'm sorry. And the money that they get per month, I'm just wondering. I just don't know how. Whatever. I'm not even going to go there. But that's my experience. There are children. I understand that. And we come there with loving kindness. We want to help them. We want to take care of them. But they want to beat you up. And they want to tell you bad about you. Can't tell them the name of your children. You can't tell them you have children. You're not supposed to tell them you're married or have a boyfriend. Don't tell them anything personal about you. You can just tell them to call it Miss Tanisha, or Miss so-and-so. Don't tell them because they will go on.
So let me get really. So let me find out this situation with you being intimately involved in the foster care and group home situation, what are your honest thoughts about this situation with Micaiah? Because do you think she was a problem child that was acting out? Or do you what are
They're
your
all
thoughts?
problem childs, Tanya. Every single one of them in there are problem child. Even if they come in there that hasn't done certain things, as far as if they're not, sexual predators or anything like that, and they come in there because their parents are terrible, eventually the system turns them into that, because they're meeting children from other different backgrounds who are worse than them. They're not categorized. Okay, let's put the mild ones who come in here. They're gonna mix them all together, and then they're gonna start being influenced by the ones who are, I can't even find a word for it. They're children, but the things that they have done, it makes you think. You have to have a strong stomach and all that stuff to deal with these kids. You really have to have a strong stomach to deal with it. You take the job because you love them. You don't take the job because you're getting a lot of money and you're getting a lot of pay and all that stuff. You take the job because you want to be there. You honestly want to be there. You want to love them. You want to take care of them. And then there's the innocent ones that come in because they've been abused at home, and then they meet the.
We've oh goodness. Tanisha, your video went out. So wow, she was saying that the innocent ones. So Tanisha, we'll come back to you when we get out of that mode, once your internet comes back up. Wow, this has been so eye-opening. I'm glad we had this broadcast. If you all are enjoying this new live studio audience setup, we're in the interim stage. We're just testing it out right now. There is going to be a subscription plan created for the live studio audience so that you all who want to be a part of the live studio audience can participate in that. So we're going to jump over to the apples. Give me 1 second. Let me get the apples on the screen right now. This has been so eye-opening for me. I feel like there's a lot more to the story than we thought before. All right, so give me 1 second. I'm trying to get my thing. It's coming in small for some reason. All right. So these are the messages. We had one from Yatunde who sent $2 and said it was silent on YouTube. That was a while ago. Okay, so those were the ones that we read earlier. All right, so then Chigozie came in and sent the $10 and said foster care system is not at fault at all. And then let me zoom this in a little bit more so that we can see it a little larger. All right, perfect. And then Lisa sends $5 for support. Thank you so much, Lisa. We appreciate that. Brianna sends $20 and says, this test was a success with a big heart. Thank you. I appreciate that. Trying new things over here. Thank you. Then we have Yolette. Hold on. Then we have Yolanda that says a paddy wagon is a police van. Oh, okay. I thought it was a padded wagon. Chigozie sends $10 and says the OS rented dropped the ball. The OS rented dropped the ball. Okay. All right. Alyssa sends $1 and says, caller is right. I have a narc mother as well. Well, we have not been able to diagnose her and we haven't heard much from afar, so we can be bringing our own stuff into the conversation. Leah sends $10 and says, people should be a worker first before blaming the system. How interesting. So you're coming in kind of saying what Tanisha was saying. Then Delisha sends $1 and says, kids will turn into monsters to survive foster care. Wow. And Shanitra sends $35. Hey, it says just sending love and support. Shanitra, thank you. We appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. So listen, we're going to jump back to the article because we still haven't finished the article. So this is going to be a 2-hour broadcast. That's just what it is going to be. So we have 20 more minutes. Let's jump back to the article and then hold on. Pretty is saying, my mother did the same thing of that same type of work and cried every damn day. That woman had no effing heart. Wait, what? I'm so confused as to what we're talking about. All right, so let's jump back to the article real quick. Give me one moment. I can't wait till we have all the systems up in place so I don't have to keep switching in this way. But yes, that's going to be great when we can do that. Let me see. Here we go. All right. All right. So the grandmother says she did not want to leave me. She said, I think about that all the time. Where's my sister? There was no chance at that point that the children would go back to their mother, who was still struggling to meet requirements for counseling and scheduled visits. Instead, the county placed all 4 children in foster care. Ms. Hammond slept wherever she could for several months, sometimes in hotels, sometimes with friends, and many nights in her car. So the grandmother was homeless? She did not get another apartment? Oh, we're going to check the apples in a moment. This is just all so confusing. And many nights in her car until she secured a home that could accommodate the children. In December 2019, Ms. Hammond submitted a petition to the court for their return, but it was rejected. Though the court's reasoning is not known, the Children's Services Agency had reported to the court that Ms. Hammond had failed to meet all of the children's needs and had not made sure they attended all necessary counseling appointments. According to Ms. Martin, the mother's lawyer, who said the conditions imposed were unreasonable. The girls, meanwhile, were placed in group homes. Janiyah recalled that not long after their grandmother dropped them off, she and Micaiah were told they had to go into separate rooms for physical examinations. When she emerged, her sister was no longer there. I said, "Where's my sister?" She said, "It was like, we don't know, we'll check," but he never got back. So that's when I realized we were being split up. After that, Janiyah, the 2 sisters, moved through half a dozen living situations. There was, she said, a foster home so strict that Micaiah was often not allowed to leave the house, a group home with dog feces on the floor, a foster mother who screamed at the top of her lungs, not realizing Micaiah was recording it all on her phone. This is in a photo provided by the family, Micaiah and Janiyah Bryant FaceTiming with their mother, Paula Bryant, in February. Interesting. All right. Even when the living situation was good and a foster parent in Dayton mused about adopting Micaiah, her sister was not interested. Janiyah said she wanted to get back to me, to family, to Columbus. Okay, so I think she was saying, but this is weird. Because I thought the 2 girls were in the same foster home. So Janiyah was in a different home, but Janiyah is the one who called the police. Let's read some more and see what's going on. This is strange. This whole story is just strange. At school, Micaiah kept her family issues to herself. Jessica Oakley, the teacher's aide who worked with her at Canal Winchester High School, recalled her as a hard worker, a sweet girl, very shy. At the end of 9th grade, she made the school's honor roll. Who? At the end of 9th grade? Micaiah was 16. Why was she in the 9th grade? What grade was she in when all of this took place? Because she wasn't in the 9th grade. The 9th grade is a freshman in high school. That's when you're 13, unless they were talking about her earlier placements or placements early in her foster care journey. What in the HE hockey sticks is going on here? This is bizarre. Something is not right. let's get back to the article because this is weird. Okay. She made honor roll at the end of 9th grade. She was diligent about schoolwork and continued to seek out Miss Oakley's assistant even when the school shut down because of the coronavirus, once spending 8 hours with her teacher on a Google Hangout, going through all of her homework. Who the hell has 8 hours worth of homework? What is going on here? This is bizarre. She was definitely my girl, Miss Oakley said. She said it was rare for Micaiah to mention anything about her family except for Janiyah. She was very protective of her sister, she said. She was like, no one messes with my baby sister. Michelle Coates, 54, one of the foster parents who briefly housed Micaiah during that period, was friends with Miss Moore, who took her in later. She would not discuss the details of the case, but she said she had noticed a pattern. Children who had escaped from traumatic family situations often longed to return to them. Home is more than just a location. It's where you have a level of comfort. Micaiah really was a family person. She needed that, she said. But see, sometimes it's not the best for the children. These children get triggered. I know the whole idea, keep them together, keep them together. Sometimes that's the worst thing for these kids. And how much longer is this article? It's almost over. An afternoon at Angie's. The two girls ended up at Ms. Moore's house on Legion Lane, not far from their grandmother's house, and together for the first time since they left her care. Okay. The suburban home is neat and well tended with bunches of artificial yellow flowers poking out of the turf. Okay, I just want to get to the article. Come on. It's like he's writing a novel or something about some yellow, beautiful fake flowers. Come on. Bunches of artificial yellow flowers poking out of the turf besides the door. The two sisters would make TikTok videos, dance, go skating, or go to an amusement center called Scene 75 that rides and the video games. Miss Moore said Micaiah says she was not troublesome. She's a quiet girl. She doesn't start fights anywhere. She wasn't a troubled child. She was fun. She loved her family. She loved her siblings. They were close. Still, Miss Moore placed repeated calls to 911 in which she seemed to struggle to manage the children she had taken in. Ms. Moore was placing repeated calls to 911. What is going on? What is happening? This is so weird. Oh my God. Sometimes she was calling to report that a teenager had gone AWOL, failing to return home by curfew. But late last year, Ms. Moore sounded deeply shaken as she asked the police to remove a 10-year-old boy, or as she put it, one of my irate foster youths, from her home. The boy could be heard in the background alternating roaring and howling, as Miss Moore told the police that he had been knocking ornaments off her Christmas tree 3 hours. 3 hours later, she made a repeat call for assistance, saying she did not feel safe driving the 10-year-old in for a psychiatric evaluation. After a brief initial interview, Ms. Moore declined to answer questions about conditions inside the home in the period before the shooting. Oh my Lord, this article is something else. Miss Case, this is just the article that just keeps on going. God, this is a lot. This is a lot. I'm sorry, we're almost through this. This has been reading for like 20 minutes. Miss Cates, who formerly cared for Micaiah, says Miss Moore faced a problem common to many foster parents. The agency expected, listen, people in the studio audience, if you have stuff that you want to add, please write your notes down because there's so much going on in here. Write your notes. Okay. Oh, the agency, okay. Ms. Moore faced a problem common to many foster parents. The agency expected her to work full-time outside the home, a situation that forced her to leave foster children unsupervised. I believe she was a loving, caring foster parent, she said, but she added foster parenting is a full-time job. By the spring, Janiyah said, Ms. Moore's, why can't a woman work during the day? Aren't these children supposed to be in school? But I guess with the COVID break, the children were at home doing distance learning. Oh my God, this is a lot to take in. We're going to continue reading. Let's continue. By the spring, Janiyah said Ms. Moore's home had become increasingly tense. In the weeks leading up to the shooting, she said Ms. Moore had accused the girls of stealing the cards that carried cash benefits for food. So somebody in the house may have been stealing the doggone SNAP cards. And she said Ms. Moore sometimes left them unsupervised or with former foster children, women in their 20s, who she said berated them and mocked Ma'Khia's speech impediment. After school on April 20, so who is saying this? Who is saying this? Who is saying this? And she said Ms. Moore sometimes. Who said this? I believe, who is saying this? Miss Cates. Okay, so Miss Cates is saying, after school on April 20th, the two Bryant girls found themselves alone in the house with Tiana Bonner, 22, one of Miss Moore's foster children, and Janiyah said her special favorite. What? Miss Bonner, who had come to celebrate Miss Moore's birthday the previous day, was now scolding the girls, saying they were habitually disrespecting Miss Moore. She's like my mom told you all to clean up the house. It's dirty, Janiyah said. The dispute escalated quickly, but when Janiyah called Miss Moore, who was at work, she said she was too busy to get involved. Janiyah said, so each of them called for backup. Janiyah called her grandmother, and Ms. Bonner called another young woman, Shy Anta Craig Watkins, 20, who had lived in the house as a foster child. Neither Ms. Bonner nor Ms. Craig Watkins agreed to be interviewed for this article. Ms. Hammond's, oh my God, all of this hearsay and conjecture. This is so frustrating. Because the person who's writing this article is not talking about what is hearsay and what is alleged. It's just saying all of this stuff. We don't know what's alleged, what's hearsay. It just gives the disclaimer that some of this is research, personal account, blah, blah, blah. All right. Ms. Hammonds rushed over and described standing on the, okay, so Ms. Hammonds is the grandmother. Ms. Hammonds rushed over and described standing on the stairway inside, trying to protect her granddaughters as the older women threatened to beat them up. Ms. Bonner had pulled out a knife, Janiyah and her grandmother said, and Ma'Khia had grabbed a steak knife from the kitchen. Janiyah went into her room and called 911. In the call placed at 4:32 p.m., Janiyah asked for help as people shouted in the background. Someone could be heard saying, "I'm not scared of no knife." It's 3171 Legion Lane, Janiyah told the dispatcher. We got Angie's grown girls trying to fight us, trying to stab us, trying to put her hands on our grandmother, on our grandma. Get here now. 12 minutes later, the police arrived. In a brief lull, Miss Craig Watkins left the house and the sisters began to pack up their things, thinking the worst of the situation was over. All right. Thinking the worst of the situation was over, as they rushed out of the house, their father was pulling in to come to their aid, but also arriving was Miss Craig Watkins, who had returned with two more people. The two groups crossed paths and Miss Craig Watkins spit. These are alleged. This is alleged. Come on, because nobody, oh God. The two groups crossed paths and Miss Craig Watkins spit towards the family, Janiyah and Miss Hammonds said. I feel that really made Ma'Khia really mad when she spit, Janiyah said. That's when everything just went left. A police officer stepped out of the car and walked towards the driveway just as Ma'Khia turned her attention to Miss Craig Watkins and could be heard on video from a neighbor's surveillance camera threatening to stab her. Here's a picture of the yard. As Ma'Khia charged, Miss Craig Watkins tumbled to the ground and Ma'Khia's father tried to kick her. Ma'Khia turned to Miss Bonner and backed her up against a car. Ma'Khia raised a knife and Officer Nicholas Reardon, a white 23-year-old who was the first officer to approach the scene, shot 4 times at Ma'Khia, who slumped. As Ma'Khia's body lay on the ground, the police officers led Janiyah inside Miss Moore's house along with her father's young son. Her father's young son? So there was there was a boy there that the father brought with him to this rumble. Oh my God. Janiyah turned on the television to find some cartoons for her younger brother to watch. Instead, what flashed on the screen first was a news report. A jury in Minneapolis had found Mr. Chauvin guilty of murdering Mr. Floyd. How much longer is this damn article? Before an officer took her phone, she sneaked into a bathroom and made one more call for help. I called my real mom, my biological mom, and told her, I said, I need you. They just shot Ma'Khia. Get here now. Janiyah recalled. I needed her. This is the, oh God, I think it's finally ending. Yes, it's finally ending. It says, Lucia Wallenshoes contributed reporting from Columbus, Ohio. Jack Healy also contributed reporting from Susan C. Beachy, contributed research. Nicholas, and then it just talks about all of the people who contributed to this article with this. She's previously served on Times Rough. Okay. Thank God we got through this article. Oh my God. This is a lot. We're going to go to the studio audience and see what you all have to say. This is a lot. This is a lot. Let's see who's up next. So we have a few people raising their hands. We have Tanya, Angelica, and B More. B More, get your camera ready. Tanya, unmute yourself and get ready to come forward. I'm going to bring you on in 1 second. Oh, my goodness. All right, Tanya, you are up. Unmute yourself. I'm going to press for you to unmute. Unmute yourself. All right.
Well, you reading that article, like a lot of questions that something I was going to say, kind of like answer it. Because I was originally going to say, I remember they were saying that there were issues a week or so or two before the incident happened, that the girls were trying to fight him. And I'm like, okay, so where was, I don't know what they call it there, but CYS, was a report made with the foster care agency about that, and why weren't they taken out of their home? If it was so much contention going on with the former foster care.
Yeah.
But when you was reading this article, it kind of like answered a lot of things. It just seemed like a whole, in your words, a boondoggle of a mess. I had no idea all this stuff was going on prior to the grandmother being there, the father with another child. Like, this is just a hotmess.com. Like, it was just a bad situation all the way around, from the beginning of her being at home to even ending there.
Yeah.
It's really sad. It's so sad. Being a mother, I just can't imagine my child being in that situation or having, I'm at a loss of words. It's just the whole history of this child's life is just sad. It's really sad.
This whole thing is awful. Thank you so much for your comment.
You're welcome.
Go ahead and put yourself back on mute. All right, Angelica, you're up next. I see I am doubled, who has her hand raised. Please get your camera ready. I am doubled. All right, go ahead.
Okay, hi, Tanya. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I really don't understand the whole situation with the argument that was going on and why would she want to stab the other person. The whole thing just totally don't make any sense to me at all whatsoever.
Yeah.
This is a whole complete big mess. It just really is.
What was the comment you wanted to add?
What else do I want to add?
Oh, was that the whole comment?
Yeah, I think that was basically it. Yeah, it just makes sense totally, the whole entire thing, how it wind up and everything with, with this, besides the situation with the grandmother and so forth, and then leading to this mess with her fighting the other person, trying to stab her to death and all, and then the dad doing the craziness on the other side. It's like, it just don't make sense at all whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm not getting a lot of it too. Thank you so much for the comment.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm not getting a lot of this too. am. I'm stunned. I'm stunned. So listen, I am doubled. I see you have your hand up next. Get your camera together, please. If there's anybody else from the studio audience who has a comment, go ahead and raise your hand up now because I want to get out of this video. There's so many questions that I have. Oh my goodness. All right.
Hi, Tanya.
Hi. So what is your comment?
I'm just headed out just to get some sun. But my comment was, okay, so I was taking notes. So first of all, with the foster care.
I'm sorry, the screen cut out for a second. You said you were taking notes.
I took some notes and I have, first of all, the foster care. So it seems like there is a gap between having the parents to be available for support, for supporting the children's well-being, and making sure that there's enough funds like to support the parents and make them so that they can have that availability to look after the kids.
I can't understand anything that you're saying, really. There's just a lot going on your screen right now. If you could say that again.
Oh, sorry about that. So the first part was because the lady who was taking care of the kids, so she had to work while she's taking care of the kids. So how I look at this foster parenting is if they're taking care of all those kids, then they need to ensure that the person is actually going to be available to take care of the kids' needs.
Yeah.
So I do get, well, if the parents want to work, but then at the same time, even as a working parent, you want to make sure that there's someone available. So whether that be like, if you're having like a nanny or whatever, but in this case, because of course, I'm not going to think that they're going to want to hire a nanny so that she can work. That'll be for somebody who can actually afford to hire a nanny. So like, I think they need to bridge a gap between how much money or funds they're paying these people so that they can be available to take care of the kids. So I think in that case, like the system needs some overhaul or for them to take a deeper look into it to see where they can bridge the gap.
Got you.
And then my next comment is just regarding the article. I find the article to be very one-sided and it doesn't have a lot, it has too much hearsay. Like it sounds too much like hearsay and not enough like supporting evidence, like factual evidence. Because I mean, like what I mean is they could have had like links to like documentation, but I didn't see that.
Exactly.
It was just like, oh, such and such said this, such and such said that, and this person did this person did that, but it didn't like the supporting evidence to say, okay, well, yeah, this is the facts, right? So I think there are some gaps in terms of like what's really going on. And my takeaway, like I feel really bad, especially for the kids involved, that they had to be bred into this kind of environment because it's to me, it's this whole situation is literally just poor breeding. Like it's just literally poor breeding. And I mean, like people, I'm not saying that people shouldn't have kids, but it's like prepare yourselves mentally and financially when you're having children so that you can take care of your kids. So that's where I'm like, this whole thing is so sad, you know, like, but that was my whole thoughts on this article.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh my goodness. This was a lot. This was a whole lot. So I want to hear your thoughts in the comment area. I'm looking at the comments on YouTube right now. I want to see what you all have to say. Bria says, even if the others had a knife at one point in time, when they came on the scene, she was the one with a knife in hand preparing to stab. So I guess you're arguing with people in the comments about the justifiableness of let's see what this comment says. My kids are well behaved, but they didn't just get that way on their own. Lack of proper parenting is a real cause of a lot of the problem, but parents don't want to hear that. It starts early. Yeah, you know what? I'm exhausted from this article. I really am. I'm sure you can see. I feel exhausted. I feel exhausted. I'm gonna jump out of here now. We're gonna anybody else from the studio audience has any last words that they wanted to add? If you do, come do it now. If not, we're just going to wave. Let me just get you all up on the screen. I'm sorry, I don't even feel like, I'm just exhausted after that article. I'm just exhausted. All right, so studio audience, you can go ahead and, I don't know, is there somebody that wanted to raise your hand? Oh, Tanisha was on before and you got cut off because of your internet connection. So we're going to hear from you again. Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
I apologize for that happened. I live in an area
No, it's quite all right. Let's just jump into the commentary.
I just wanted to say that I see people talking about, oh, they're children. You're supposed to do this. Listen, we didn't roll out of bed and decide to go take care of children that are abandoned and all that stuff. Okay, we didn't do that. We know this is something that we have in us. It's like being a teacher or something. You have that care inside of you. You're motherly. You're very tender. You want to be able to share your love that you feel. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we didn't just roll out of bed for that, and it takes a lot of schooling and to get your licenses and all that stuff. Now I'm talking about before I had mine, when about 15, 20 years ago. This is what I'm talking about. I'm not justifying anything. I'm talking about what you guys are not seeing in the article. What people are saying, oh, but they're children, they're children in big bodies that are abusing people that are there to help them. And I need that point to set across the amount of time police officers are being called to these foster homes, to these group homes. People, in 1 week, 2 ladies got her legs broken where I was working. Okay?
Broken by what?
The kids.
A child broke somebody's 2 legs?
Yeah, no, 2 people. One got their leg broken, and I think one had her arm fractured. She was coming down the stairs, and she just kicked her, right? And then I'm not talking about, this is an older lady, even if she wasn't an older lady, but she got her leg broken. Why did she do that? Because it's fun. It's fun. They're bored. Okay, so you have these children who are coming in who are really been abused at home, and they really need the love and they really need the care, and then they go in and they just put them all together, put them all together. They don't separate them or anything, just by age and gender, and maybe if their mental illness is too advanced. They just put them all together, and guess what? These little ones now, they're gonna join a little gang. They're gonna gang up and they're gonna do little things, and they hurt people. They do that, and I just need people to understand that we don't go into these places to collect a check. The check is not enough. It's not enough to pay off my student loans. We're doing it because we love it. We want to take care of these children. So I don't deal with the teenage girls anymore. I don't. I deal with adults or the younger babies that I can care for and kiss them and hug them and talk to them and give them candy and make them happy, because I can't do anything.
You're giving candy to a baby?
No, not baby. The little younger ones, to make them happy when they do a good job. You give them a little tiny lollipop. Yeah. You can do that, and it makes them happy. And what did it cost me? Nothing. And they don't understand that they're going through little hormones or whatever. And some of them, they've done some really bad stuff, Tanya. It's not the parent. They find friends in the street. It's not the parents.
What do you mean they've done some bad things? Wait.
All right. I'm going to give you one example. I had one of my clients, because that child was upset with the mother, the maternal mother, because they didn't get to go to the mall. That child raped their little brother.
What? A male child?
Yeah. They use a broomstick and a plunger, bring the little 3-year-old in the bathroom, and sodomized the 3-year-old. The mother didn't do anything. She was a loving mother. But because they've been doing it for so long and doing other things to get back at the mother silently, to get back at the parents silently, they take it out on the little one. So what is she going to do? She loves both of them. She has to protect the little one. So sometimes it's not the parent. Sometimes it's way deeper than that, Tanya.
So hold on. So you're saying that you know of a foster care situation where the teenage child wanted to go to the mall. And because this female teenage child wasn't able to go to the mall, that they assaulted a 3-year-old with a plunger.
Their own 3-year-old sibling.
And that the mother had to call foster care to get the teenage child to get them out of the house.
Because if not, they grab a knife and they're ready to kill their mother, they kill their parents, and the law have to come in and take them out. And then here we come, we're trying to give them some stability and other than, medication and all that stuff, they need way more. They need big brothers, they need all that stuff. And some of them are just not into it, ma'am. Some of them don't care. They don't want it. They have their little clique. They have their little friends. They do all that stuff. And I just want to say before the Wi-Fi kicked off, I want to tell you what happened that night. That night when that police officer came, he arrested her. And I went to the hospital and I got a check to replace my car. That's the outcome. And this is what is being done. So just because they're teenagers and they're kids and all that stuff, the law is the law. You are hurting people. You are hurting people who are there to help you. You are going to jail. They're going to jail. They're going to juvie.
So there's a person who's sending a comment. Her name is Gypsy. She says, yes, lady, you hear sad, shocking stories, but you don't hurt them even more. Come on.
We're not there to hurt them. How are we hurting them? How? We're there and we're having conversations. We're open dialect and we're there. We're taking them to the park and we're trying to be there in every way for them to speak about their feelings and stuff. Mind you, but a few years ago, a lot of people of my color wasn't in those type of environments. And they couldn't relate to some of these type of people. So we're coming in and we're trying to do everything. And if they're not opening up and listening to their friends, which they're more likely to listen to their friends, and their friends are where? In the same home. Don't listen to her. We just don't like her. Why you don't like me? What have I done to you? We just don't like you. Your lips are too big. You're too yellow. You're too this. You act like you bougie. For no reason. They just want to beat you up. They will sit and wait for you to get out of your car if they can. And they're ready for you for that day when you come in and you're there to help them. I don't understand what's wrong with people in the comments. This is the part that you guys do not understand. Who wants a child to get shot? I don't. I sure as hell don't, but I want you to understand that they're not sitting down, chilling, playing dominoes or watching a cartoon on Saturday. They're not doing that. They're thinking about how they can run away and go to the club and try to steal your car.
So the people who are calling Micaiah a baby and all this other stuff, what are your thoughts on that?
I listen, Micaiah, I don't know what happened before, but I can tell you Micaiah had a knife in her hand and something happened, something led to that situation. They are not that innocent. And something has been brewing in that home for a while, because that's what happened before it escalates. Something has been brewing. They've been doing little things to each other. They petty. Come on, Tanya. Girls. We're talking about girls that are seeing their periods around the same time. That are going. Come on, man. I'm telling you.
Listen, I hear you. I hear you. Thank you so much for contributing to the conversation.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. And thank you for people who understand where I'm coming from. I just want to give you my side. Okay.
No, I hear you. This is definitely something to think about. So we have next up, we have Amber, who, Amber, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hello.
Yes, hi.
Hi. So I was just calling because I was a foster child. I was a foster child who fought as a teenager because I went into foster care. As a teenager, you are aggressive. You already come from a bad environment. You feel like you have to fight. There's no one to fight for you. And I could have definitely been that girl. Like, I feel like I could have been her. The foster care system, they do provide you with counseling. They will provide you with physical therapy. They will provide you with whatever it is that you need. So in most cases, those kids are going to counseling. They're going to get help. They try to make sure in the summertime you're involved in camps. They try to occupy your time. So in most cases, it still doesn't matter, because if you are upset, if you feel like your parents don't care, you feel like adults don't care, you have a different aspect on life than the average kid. So if it's a kid in foster care 13, she's not the same as a 13-year-old that grew up with their parents, even if it was only one parent. It's just not the same. Your view on life just becomes totally different, because you just feel like, who cares?
Gotcha.
And why should you also click up, you end up with around a lot of other foster kids, and it just starts feeling like a game of survival.
Oh, wow.
Honestly.
Thank you for adding that perspective. This studio audience is so great, because there's so many people on both sides of it, past, present, and future. So thank you so much. I really appreciate all of you coming and commenting. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So listen, there are more people in the audience who have their hand up. However, we've been on for more than 2 hours. You know, I don't like to broadcast for more than 2 hours. So we are going to I'm sorry. Let me listen. I'm going to allow you all to come off of mute I'm going to allow you all to come off of mute so that you could say goodbye to everyone. So
Tanya, bravo for what you're doing here. You've brought together a community because you care, and no one else in the media is really investigating this. The articles are not bringing the truth, as we all can see, and you have people who care enough, who are experts because of their experiences. And I just want all of us not to judge one another, but to listen and learn from real people's experiences, because we are getting closer to the truth just based on real knowledge of people in these situations. And we all need to pray for real truth. And Tanya, I believe you will get more people and find out what really happened, because you have a heart to know. Bravo.
Thank you so much.
Bravo.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya.
All right.
Thanks, Tanya. Thumbs up, thumbs up.
All right, we're gonna let the studio audience go. Go ahead and wave. Bye, everybody.
It was nice meeting you guys.
Bye, guys. Thanks, Tanya.
Bye.
All right, bye, everybody. Bye. We're gonna go through the different screens. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We're going to read. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So if you all wait right there, after the show, we'll come for a wrap up. So I'm going to take you off of. Hold on. There's a lot of noise. Mute. No one else in the media is. Okay. Everybody's muted. Thank you. I'm going to come after the broadcast, and we're going to have a wrap up after our first successful test show. All right. So I'll see you all in just a moment. I'm going to take you all off of the broadcast, because we are going to we're going to read some of the apples, and then we're going to give the closing, and then we're going to get out of here. So this was great. I really liked this, actually. This was a wonderful, wonderful time. So let me, I clicked the wrong button. I'm sorry, that article really did wear me out. Hold on. Hello. Hey, I'm on air right now. Did you get good news? Okay. All right. Thank you so much for the news. I'll call back. I'll speak back to you after I get off of the broadcast. Okay. All right. Bye. All right. So one of my friends is missing, and we sent the police over to do a wellness check, and he didn't answer the door. But he was ill for a few days, and then he just stopped answering his phone. And I'm honestly, I'm a little worried. But I'm not going to worry right now. We're going to go forward with the broadcast. I'm going to read the apples, and then we're going to get out of here. Okay. I'm sorry. I had to answer that call because I was waiting to hear back about the wellness check. Because, there's a lot of people passing away. And for many of us out there who live alone, if something happens to you, people just won't know. So make sure that people know where you live. Make sure that people have a contact to somebody that knows you. Make sure that you have friends that can get in touch with your parents or your siblings or something. Please, because there's a lot of things happening every day. And if your friends don't know how to get in touch with those closest to you or how to get to where it is that you are, things can happen and we don't know. All right. So listen, I'm gonna put some of the apples up on the screen. I'm sorry. I'm not happy about that at all. Okay. All right. So, okay. So Angelica sends $2 and says, I was adopted as a child and both parents and it looks like the message got cut off and she didn't send another one. Okay. And then Chigozie writes back and says, for parents, typo. Oh, that was, so let's see. So let's go back to the prior message. So, okay, foster care system is not at fault at all. Parents dropped the ball. Okay, so that's what you were trying to say. Okay, the parents dropped the ball. All right, perfect. I got to just get up to the corner and close that out. Okay, perfect. I see what you're saying now. You made a misspelling. All right, thank you. And then Tanisha says, the girl got arrested that night. I got to check. Oh, Lord. Oh, my goodness. Delisha sends $1 and says, that was such a badly written article, grammar much. Well, I didn't even look at the grammar, really. I just was reading the article and the way it was skewed. Allison sends $1, I guess, to support the show. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. So let me go ahead and give my closing. Go out there and love one another. Most importantly, what? Love yourself. Love yourself. And part of loving yourself is to realize that who it is that you've incarnated as in this lifetime, that you are much larger than just this incarnation, that your spirit and soul is as old as the spirit and soul of God, because we are all a ray of the light of God. We all have the same universal energy inside of us. And there's a consciousness that exists in all of us. And sometimes as humans, we forget. And it's up to you to tap into the remembering. You've got to remember. Listen to that voice that speaks inside of your intuition, inside of your subconscious, and hear that. Go into the stillness, meditate, find a way to tap into that essence that is larger than that which it is that you think that you are. And the self-love, what is the self-love lesson here? What's the self-love lesson here? The self-love lesson here for me is that there are many of us who come from very difficult beginnings. That doesn't have to be your ending. Create a way to create a shift for yourself, not for anybody else, not because anybody else will think this or that about you, but create that shift on the inside of you for you. Because your life matters. And that's actually one of the affirmations in my book. That's actually one of the, it's like, here, as soon as you open, so this is the beginning of the book. And then you have the first page with the title page on it. Let me get the light down a little bit lower. This is my autograph to myself. You got the title page, and then you get the instructions. And then the first page that you come onto says, "My life matters. My presence on earth matters." And I started the book off with that affirmation because I wanted to reaffirm for everybody that your life matters. Your presence here on earth matters. And Micaiah's life mattered. The 13-year-old girl who was stabbed and killed the same day as Micaiah, who hasn't gotten much media attention because she was killed by another Black person instead of by the police. You know, it's like our lives matter, and they have to matter to us. It has to matter to you. My book right now is sold out. It's sold out, and I'm working on replenishing the copies now. But go to Amazon and bookmark it so that when it is back in stock, you could get a notification when it's back in stock. So this is the Book of Affirmation Self right here. And that is the book where the affirmations helped me in my most dire time. When I was living in my car and things were rough and difficult and I didn't know how I was going to get out of it. And there were a lot of people who were saying I wouldn't make it out of it. And I knew I had to hold on to the thought and the idea that I could. Actually, we have a few books that we need to give away, right? So this is what we're going to do. Contact me on my website. Go to tanyatko.com and click on contact. If you or someone that you know went through the foster care system or you feel could use my book of affirmations, there is a knockout who has contributed a book for you to be able to get the book for free and shipping for free. Just write to me and just tell me what it is that you need, what's going on, and I will choose a person, and in the next broadcast, we will do the giveaway for the book. All right. So thank you all so very much. And your book will be autographed. And if you ordered a book from me on my website, all books will be shipped within the next 2 weeks. I have about 125 orders left to go out. And I have a stack of orders right here that, oh my goodness, I can't show you the labels. Oh my goodness, I have a stack of orders that are going to be going out. It's a little late because of this broadcast, so those will be going out tomorrow. So if you got your notification for shipping today, it'll go out tomorrow. Thank you to all of the people who are my text notification crew who helped me test this. Don't worry, we're going to create a membership level for the live broadcast so that we can have a community of trusted contributors from different backgrounds to be able to participate in the live broadcast. If you would like something like that, let me see you put up the number 11. If you would like to continue the live studio audience that we did today, put up the 11. If you would like to participate in something like that, put up a 12. I want to see who's out there. If you would like to be in that subscription level, because I gave you all a survey last week and you all let me know that you want to participate. And so if you'd be willing to participate in something like that. So we have, okay, so the 12s are coming in. All right, perfect. Wonderful. And somebody put in 23. What number is this? Are you adding them together? Okay, got you. Okay, you adding them. All right, wonderful. All right, so listen, I will see you all in the next broadcast. Go out there and love one another. Most importantly, love yourself. And part of loving yourself is realizing that your life matters. I'm going to give you all a hug. And then for the people who are in the studio audience, I'm going to come backstage and talk with you all right now. I will see you all in the next video. If you're seeing this live, we're ending the broadcast and I'm going behind stage to talk with my squad. All right, thank you all very much. Tanya TKO, tanyatko.com. And on Amazon, if you search for Tanya TKO book or self-love, Tanya TKO self-love, it's right there. I'll see you all. Peace.